This is your March and April 2025 market update for the coastal Maryland and Delaware area. So you want to stick around because I'm going to go over all the stats, the numbers that you would want to know. And of course, I'm going to go over just a little bit of what I'm seeing on the ground, helping buyers and sellers every day in the area. So if you're interested in that, stick around. So what's going on, everybody? This is Rich, your local coastal Maryland and Delaware realtor. And I get people that reach out all the time and I love it. Never too busy. I'm gonna put my contact information down below in the description. So reach out, love to hear from you. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. So let's start off with the interest rate. I hopped in here in my computer and I'm on the Freddie Mac website. And this is May 2nd when I'm recording this. So you can see the 30-year fixed rate is 6.76%. And let's take a look at, because this is your March and April update. I kind of combine those because these months are going by super fast. But let's look at the beginning of March. You're looking at a 6.63%. Started out and looked like it was kind of raised a little bit, kind of went back down. Then coming into April, we're at 6.64%. You can see we had a little bit of a spike there. The 6.8 pretty much stayed around there, but then you can kind of see where we're at with that 6.76% for a 30-year fix on the rates there. And keep in mind, obviously, a lot of people, a lot of clients that I help out are looking at second homes and investments. You can be about a 1 percentage point higher than what this is showing here, maybe a little bit less. Again, just depending on your loan product and situation that you're going for. But that is the interest rate. Let's look at the numbers here. I'm gonna pull up right from the MLS, Worcester County, which is Maryland, and Sussex County, which is on the Delaware side here. So let's start with Maryland. This is what I have up here too. And these are the date ranges for March 2025 to April 2025. So let's take a look at this. Up here, you can see March right here, kind of shows you the units that were listed medium. I always like to look at months of inventory, 6.5 months, which is really, when you hit that 6-month mark worth of inventory, you're kind of like a balanced market between sellers and buyers. And been kind of seeing that a little bit, sellers a little bit more open to negotiate, just really depending on the property, like I said, which I'm gonna talk a little bit more about here. I'll give you a little bit more feedback towards the end of this, what I'm seeing on the ground. But 6.5 months there. In April, it went down a month, 5.5 months there. With March, units sold 159 units, and the sold medium was 420,000, and average days on the market was 57, which has been kind of about that. 2 months is about the time frame average it's been in 2025 and later 2024, really. But looking up at April, we already went over the month's inventory. Then the sold median price was about 417. Days on the market about the same as April, 56 days on the market. So days on the market is, when a home is listed and it goes under contract, so the amount of time that it's spent on there, actually waiting for a contract, which too much is not bad at all with that. So looking down here, I always like to look at this, kind of compares it to last year. Of course, this is May 2nd, so it's comparing last year to May 2024. You can see our months of inventory last year was 3.4 months. So it almost a couple more months worth there. So a little bit difference. Let's take a look at Delaware. I'm gonna move this over here. Sussex County, see that here from March to April is what we're looking at. Let's start with March, 949 units listed. You see the volume, listed medium. Months of inventory, 6.3. Shows kind of similar to Maryland. Or Worcester County, you can see 456 units have sold. Sussex County, a little larger county. Sold medium, 450,000. Average days on the market, 54, which is very similar to on the Maryland side. So April, looks like a little bit more inventory listed. Months inventory went down a bit, 5.7. And we've got the sold medium, 437.5. That went down a little bit. That's usually typical. Days on the market went down to 49 days, so moving a little faster there. Let's look at down here, compared to last year, May 2024, months of inventory, 4.3. So about the same, similar to on the Maryland side, Worcester County, about 2 months more of inventory floating around. A lot of new construction going on in Delaware, which that's mainly what I've been helping with clients up that way, particularly in the Lewis, Delaware area. So that's your numbers there. let's hop in to the MLS and sticking with the numbers theme here. I like to show the home buyer index, and I like this. It kind of gives you a nice graph to see what buyer activity is doing. You know, this is always important if you're looking to sell or if you're looking to buy too, to see what kind of competition is going on in the areas that you're looking. So it doesn't really matter which listing I pull up, but I pulled up one here in Ocean City, and we're going to go all the way down. So here's Bright has, our MLS has a great home demand index graph here, and I like it because it compares it to last year, kind of shows you, what's going on. So, and April's numbers are not going to show up on here yet because it's a little too soon. Like I said, it's the 2nd of May, but it kind of shows you what's trending here. But it shows that it's moderate, so pretty steady, a little bit above steady here in Ocean City, Maryland. And we can see if you're looking at March, what this graph is doing. And this is typical, just like last year. Here you see January is usually the slowest of the months, but you can see here in 2025 it was actually a little bit busier, more activity than in 2024, but then it usually shoots straight up just like this. And April is kind of like traditionally the peak month of buyer activities going on, and it usually goes pretty strong into May, and then you'll see in this graph it starts to kind of slope off. Still steady, still moving along, but it's naturally when it gets into the summer, and particularly July is probably the slowest, just because I think people are busy maybe vacationing and doing those things. But you can see where it's not like January. So still things going on, but here it shows that we have a lot more activity. I don't say a lot more, but a little bit more. It looks like it's going to peak a little higher than it did last year. And last year in particular, I noticed in Ocean City, and this graph shows right here, and it kind of peaked out in April. Then it seemed like mid-April, things started to slow down a bit. Still a lot going on, but it started to dip. You can see right here, I think a little sooner than normal than maybe like it did back in 2023. So I'm interested when the numbers come out here for April 2025 of what that's going to look like. So right now it feels like, I'm getting more inquiries, particularly in Ocean City right now, and in Delaware. It'd be good to take a look at that. And down here, I like these little bar graphs here. You can see March, they've got 3 columns here. So the last one here is new listings that come on the market. That's going to show a bit higher than 2024, but 204 new listings in March. You see compared to last year, it was 166 listings. So more inventory this year, which I think is a good thing. Let's see, pendings, those that went under contract, 120 in March. And then there was closed sales of 92, which compared to last year, 147. So a little less, 120 in 2025 went pending, and 147 went pending in 2024. So a little bit more went under contract last year in that month. Then 109 closed in March, and 92, which is not a big difference in this year in March. And again, I don't have April yet, but that will be coming up. But I like this graph, kind of shows you the peaks and valleys and activity, what's going on here. So let's take a look at another area up in Delaware. I can do a couple of them. Let me just go to like Lewis. Like I said, I've been helping quite a few clients up this way. I'm gonna go over a little bit more information with that. But I just had a listing over in this area, not far from the downtown area. That sold, of course, I'm just picking up any listing, but you can look at their demand index here for this zip code in Lewis. Of course, demand, they're ranked very high, says is a hot area. And like I said, a lot of new construction going on, but they go pretty strong. You see their graph looks a little bit different here, but they're kind of trending upwards as well, which is common for March. Down here in the bar graphs, you see 121 new listings. And see they had 134 back at last year. So a little less listings this year in that area. And 76 has closed in March, and 85 closed last year. So a little less, but still pretty close. Some graphs and numbers for you there. So next I want to do here, let's talk about, what I'm seeing, on the ground and sellers. And of course, this is my website here. I just kind of brought this up. That listing I was talking about is this one right here in Lewis, Delaware. And this was a custom built luxury home, 1.85 million on this one, big house, 4,200 square feet, 5 beds, 3 baths, large lot, half-acre lot. And the big thing about this one was the location. It was, if you remember seeing on that map there, It was not too far away from the downtown Lewis area, and the beaches are right there, Cape Henlopen State Park. But this particular one, I did quite a bit of pre-marketing and coming soon status where you don't really do showings during that time, but a couple weeks I was kind of building up momentum for this one. We went under contract really the first day, first weekend we went on the market, and I can kind of announce this because we close next week. About time this video comes out, it's already will be closed. So I will say that it was a full offer and it was a cash buyer on this one. The typical days on the market for something like this in this price range and in the area was hovering more around 2 to 3 months. So 60, 90 days. But I think when we went on the market, just with the pre-marketing, we came across the right buyer, a good fit for this home. And obviously we didn't have multiple offers, but had quite a bit of activity on that. To kind of give you an idea, that was in Lewis, Delaware. Had another one where I helped sell their Ocean City, Maryland condo, and they wanted a single family home up in Delaware, a little closer to family, and that was in Lewis, Delaware. This one right here that you can see, Urban Circle, and that one sold for the $750,000. This one was sitting a little bit. I think it was on the market for 4 months. Of course, we put it under contract, and we had to go to settlement on their Ocean City condo first. So there was a contingency in there, which was a little bit more complex, but we made it work, and the buyers got a really good deal on this one. I'm sure the sellers were happy to sell it too. That one came fully furnished, large finished basement, huge garage in there too. Nice property. That one we settled in April. Maryland side, I've got another Ocean City condo under contract. We're getting ready to go to settlement on that one. Got a real good deal on that. That was sitting on the market, estate sale. Big thing with that one, the building is an Antigua building, so high rise. It was built in the 70s, and this unit looked like it was from the 70s. So it's one reason why I think it was sitting. But the buyer was able to get a great price on that. They planned to remodel, not all at once, but eventually over time. And they were very happy on getting a good deal on that. The last one I want to talk about here is I helped a seller sell one over in Shaw, Maryland. It was a family property, estate sale. Was looking to downsize, something low maintenance, and we found this nice condo in Salisbury, Maryland. Exactly perfect for her, low maintenance, 1 bedroom. Condo fees were low, and it covered a lot of your exterior maintenance, the roof, everything. So her utility bills are gonna be low there, but we got her a really good deal on this one. It was listed for like 175 or 179. We got it for the 155. So she was very happy with that. And her home in Shaw was on the market almost about 2 months. So right about the average days on the market. A lot of complications on that one with a failed septic, older home in the 60s. So a lot of different other things going on there, but we worked it out. And this one was also a contingency on that one going to settlement, and this one to purchase. So that's what I'm seeing on the ground. Activity is still moving pretty steady on both Maryland side and the Delaware side. A little bit more inventory. So I think a lot of sellers are being a little bit more flexible, and buyers can get can find some deals out there. And there's also, depending on the house and the location and the condition, just like any market, just like that first one I showed you, my listing I had in Lewis, Delaware, that one was built in 2020. So fairly new house, beautiful inside, custom finishes, everything in there. So we got a full price sale on that one, and it was a cash buyer and on the market technically 1 to 2 days. And we were under contract. So things can still be moving pretty quickly depending on, again, the condition, but there's more options out there, which I think is a good thing. So that is your market update. So there we have it. That's what I'm seeing on the ground there, and all the stats, numbers, everything you would want to know. But if you have a question or any feedback, leave a comment down below. Love to hear from you. And of course, if the video has helped you out, show the love, click that like button, subscribe so you don't miss any of the content that I come out with every week. And until next time, I'll see you soon.